Good afternoon, everyone. This week, for our training session, we're going to go back to the truck. Okay, we started with truck, went to the engine, went to the rescue. Today, we're back to the truck. We're going to be talking about our combination of saws that we carry in this department and what they're used for. These are all the 6 saws that are in the truck. Every saw has a backup for each of its different functions, which makes the operation go so much smoother just in case we have a breakdown or we have a problem or we need both saws simultaneously. All the saws are Husqvarna motors or their predecessor, the partners. So everything is basically the same manufacturer. We start off here with, as they used to call the K1200 saws or the K12 saws. These are our primary flat roof saws. This one's a 970 and this one's a 950. Basically the same model, some operational differences. They're used for basically, again, flat roofs. We've used them on peak roofs before also. Next 2 saws are our forcible entry saws and again, rich saws. One is an inboard, one is an outboard. Again, for being able to handle those situations where you cannot get an inboard saw in, so you can use your outboard saw. Works very well. Next 2 we have our 2 chainsaws. Again, they're basically for pitch roofs, excuse me. They can also be used in a variety of other functions. On our RIT assignments, we're carrying a chainsaw and we're carrying a saw for forcible entry. Again, the chainsaw works much better when you're making a window into a door. You're trying to get through debris. That works so much better on window bars, steel garage doors, and door gates. Okay, so that's why we're carrying those. So that's the combination of saws that we run here on the truck. We all need to be proficient with those. And what we're going to do is we have a cast today of illustrious firefighters. Before, however, we go into the actual starting, we're going to talk about the fueling system. Okay, years ago, we used to use a combination fuel mixture of oil and gas. Today we use, Audrey?
We use True Fuel, which is oil and gas already mixed, and it makes it a lot easier rather than trying to mix them together.
So that takes care of that. So these are in all the compartments where the saws are. So there's never a problem as to what we're going to use. We also have a lot of spares in the station, okay? Who's going to start first? Oh, we have our...
Starting, all these saws are pretty similar. However, the design of them, it could be different. So you just have to take a second, look at it, look at the switches where they are, and go from there. You also want to make sure you have fuel. Always check your fuel. They should be stored ready to go. But every time you get a saw off and you're going to go to work with it, you want to check for fuel, you want to check the blade, make sure no teeth are missing or chipped, and make sure it's in proper working order. You don't want to be the guy to go to the roof, to cut, and the saw doesn't work. So for this one, you pull the blue tab, that's your choke. You have a decompression button, and then you just give her a good pull. This one's the same concept, however you have switches. I lied to you. You pull. So this is pretty much the same thing. And same thing with this one. This one actually has a prime, different than the rest. So you just want to make sure that's primed and ready to go.
like to add something, some here. When Eddie does the roof cut later on, the Ks do not, the blades do not stop, okay, when you stop the unit. The thing is, what you're going to do is with these, is you're going to grab it and you're going to dive it into the work, okay? And you'll see Eddie demonstrate that before, but that's important. Did you see how that just did now? What happens is if you're here and you tip that over, it's going to dig into the concrete and mess up the blade. So you want to make sure you keep your unit level, let it spin out. Unless you're on the roof, then dive it into the work and then pull it away. That'll stop it, okay?
Larry, you want to start yours?
So this saw is similar to the other ones. You have your switches here. You gotta put your choke down when you start it, and your stop has to be up when you're gonna start it. You also have to lock the trigger on this one. You're gonna push your dead man switch in with your right, pull your trigger up with your right, and you're gonna push your lock switch in with your left. So it locks for you. Make sure your switches are right. Now you start it up. That's how the 770 runs. Next up we have the chainsaws. We have the Ventmaster. This one you have to pull the choke out. You pull this blue one out. Make sure your stop's up, not down. This one you don't have to lock the trigger for. You have your pressure switch up top, you're going to press that in. And you're going to the same way, you pull. When you hear that roar, push your choke back in, start it up. And when you stop, you're going to push your brake back down, and you're on down.
Some things before we get into the actual roof cutting. The reason why when New York was looking at a circular saw that they went with the partner and now the Husqvarna is their ability to be able to operate in heavy smoke conditions. And they do, okay? Chainsaws, however, do not always have that great of an operation when it comes to dealing in heavy smoke. This saw, however, proved itself down at the Roads End Fire, down in the valley, down in Butler. That saw in heavy smoke conditions, when we were next to each other, couldn't even see each other, that saw was able to operate efficiently and effectively in providing ventilation for the engine crews that were underneath us at the time. So that saw, the reason why we've gone to these is because they have an ability to operate effective and efficiently in smoke conditions. Not all saws can make that claim. And now we'll switch to Eddie.
Need some saws.
Okay, when you're cutting the roof, first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your roof ladder on and make sure your hooks are out blocking in the peak of the roof. Off the side of your roof ladder, you're going to want to bury the spike of a Halligan into the center of the roof so you have a purchase point to stand on. I'm not going to do that now because I'll be standing next to it. With your cuts, you're going to make a diagonal cut between the corner of your top and your far side cuts first. That's going to be your purchase point for your hook once your cut's done. You're going to make your far cut, top, bottom, and the closest to you. Same thing with the rotary below it.
things that went well there. First of all, as you can tell, he made sure his cuts were all across each other so that there was no hang-ups when we went to pop the roof. As you can tell, the angle cut there worked out perfect. Already popped out. We were able to get in with a hook. Everything went the way it should have gone there, and it went very, very well. But this is a standard roof cut operation. Everybody should be able to know how to do this. This is, again, an essential to firefighting and a Firefighter 1 program, evaluation station. All in all, went very well today. We appreciate all the help that we had here today. Everybody pitched in and did a good job. If you have any questions on the saws, please come and see one of us. We'll go over them with you. The saws are a very important part of our operation, and we want to make sure that everybody's proficient in them. One other thing about saws is, like with the heavy hydraulics that we talked about last week, hand tools always work. So make sure when you go up on a roof that you have an axe, that you have a halligan, that you have a hook, so that in case you have a saw problem until you can get the next saw up there, you're able to take care of that. Hand tools always start, okay? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe. We're going to have actual hands-on trainings that's going to start in June. We'll get in touch with you and we'll tell you how that's all going to work out. Thanks again. Thanks for watching.